Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only.
Release. I have my buddy Thomas, who will present himself in a couple of minutes. As you know, I'm always introducing quickly myself. Not 9, but nearly 10 years, in 2 months to be precise. I'm Jonathan. My role in the organization, preach marketing automation. I'm trying to be that gap between our engineers and IT guys, the guys upstairs here, and you, or customer, or prospects, most of the time marketeers. And I really want to show you all that technology is there to help marketeers to deliver, and I will use a couple of hype words, outstanding customer personalized journeys. That's really the idea. The idea is I want you to focus on your customer, and I want us to help you do that in a better way. I've got my social links, phone number, and everything over here. Feedback about presentation, about where we should go, about your biggest pain and hustle, and whatever partners we should meet. Just shoot as much as you can. I love to be in contact with you. That's really an important part for me. I will quickly hand it over to Thomas because I hate presenting people. I think they can do that much better than I do. So I'll hand it over to you, Thomas, so that you can maybe quickly give a word about you and a short snippet introduction of Communal.
Very short. Very short. Cool. Hello. Thanks for the invite, John. Hey, my name is Thomas, one of the co-founders of Communal. And what we have developed over the last 3 to 4 years is a data visualization technology, especially focused on integrating with other platforms, especially also marketing platforms, so you can easily build insights on the data you're generating with our partner, for example, Actito. At the end of this webinar, happy to give you concrete insights on how that works with a short demo.
Love it. Straight to the point. Okay, very fast, or pillars of agility for those that don't know, because that is basically really, I think, a core value of us is to have 4 releases a year. Why 4 and not 1? Because we think being agile is part of delivering much faster new features, upgraded feature to customers. Those that know us know how we work with our Watch and Learn or webinars. It's a new feature, an upgrade of an existing one. And most of the time, and each time since a year now, we push a partner up front. This time it will be Communal, sorry. Next to that, we got our 3 other pillars, which are, of course, our QBRs, quarterly business review. This is basically human, helping you getting the most out of Actito, but also with the partners. And I think Thomas can give you some vision about that too. We also always focus on those 4 weeks for first value. This is more for the guys that are prospect or suspect with us. This is really something we want to bring to the market. I think the game is over when you were going for huge setups, ages, before getting the first piece of value. We want to really focus on 4 weeks to get you to that first value. And just to avoid maybe sometimes too much the hype, one of the hype would be AI and all those fancy words. We try to have a vision on 4 years where we will plug all those one into it. And that's a nice introduction to my agenda of today. Today we will talk about KPIs and dashboards. We will talk about the marketplace coming up. Of course, everything around documentation. And Thomas, again, will give you a very nice presentation about Communal. We did it in the Dutch version earlier today. Already had great feedback around it, so stay tuned until the end. I love coach, and those that know me know that. And when I was studying marketing more than 10 years ago, they never told me something like ROI. I say, what is this? And in my first job, basically, I was asking for marketing budget, and they say, okay, let's say that we give you money. How much will you bring in? That's basically where I noticed that sales and marketing is one bucket. And basically, to be able to learn and to iterate and to deliver more value, more cash. If you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. And that's really the quote of Peter Drucker. And that is the first thing I will show you in a couple of minutes into the solution. Next to that, those that know this maybe, that is the Chief Martech, Scott Brinker, really well known in the US. And this is what we call the marketing technology landscape. 5,000 plus company in April 2018. The updated version is coming up. What I mean by that is basically we are there. And we are part of all that ecosystem. We are not that guy that say one-stop shopping place and we will deliver everything. We think that you should take the best in class and basically partner with the other best in class so that you can deliver that outstanding value. I love the quote of Walter Payton, which is an American football player, that say that he basically, alone we are strong, but together we are even stronger. And I think this is really something you should think about it. And I'm not talking about startup or mid-sized company or big enterprise. It's really think about a new way of helping your customer, of reaching your customers. Documentation for me is much more around autonomy. I have a little boy of 8. It's really funny because when he's looking at something or he's not able to do something, he say, just ask Google. And basically that is being autonomous in a way because the documentation, the information is present. That was really something missing in Actito. And I think we really did a great job. And I want to say a big shout out to all the people of support that they really worked very hard to bring it to you in this release. So enough said, I will quickly switch on my computer and let's go for a live demonstration. I don't know how does it is on the camera, but let's say it's not the most important. You should focus on the screen now. So I'm logging in, English version, you know that by now. I will go in full mode. Due to the fact I'm streaming, I'm not the most, how can I say, speed broadband over here. So first thing that you see over here is we have a full new dashboard. I will zoom in. So once you enter in the tool, those that know us, what was the first thing, the first experience you had before was really a wide portal for a lot of you. I'm really sorry for the internet connection, people. Okay. Most of the time, this is what's hot. Quite wide, just some KPIs, but not something crisp and where you could really understand what was happening into your license, into your Actito environment. So we want to change that. So first thing first, a left menu which is open that gives you a straight access to the dashboard. I will ping pong between my computer and the TV. I think that is much more friendly and intuitive to show you. So first thing first, we'll have everything around database growth. Let's be honest, that is in French we will say le fonds de commerce. If you don't have any users, any prospect, any customer, you don't have any business. So first metric we will push up front is the growth of your database. We take 3 months. Why do we take 3 months? Goes back to our 4 pillars of agility. Every 3 months you should really going deep into your data, really understanding what is happening, to be sure that you get the most value out of any kind of action. Subscribe, it's more for those that were there with the GDPR, you know, this consent, opt-ins, and the fact that you may connect or not connect with people. That is really the growth, that gives you the reach out of those. That is the people you can communicate with. And we'll get back to the communication. You know that Actito is what we call multi-channel. We go on everyone, so you will have specific subscriptions for those. The scenarios is more something like the journeys, the story you want to bring to the customers. And that is all the living environment, all those stories you bring to your customers are into that part as well. I will try to just unzoom because zoom in maybe. I just cannot show you it yet, but don't worry, I will go move on. If we take our campaigns, we got 39 campaigns on a time of 9 months, and then you get the average data. You see that we switch from percentage to the real values, that just to help you understand again your metrics. Which is important in this graphic is you know how important it is to get your emails into the mailbox. So that's your deliverability percentage. 95% of all the messages landed into the mailbox of your customer. And then we go for some more classic metrics like opening, click, unsubscribe. Of course, you can go into each campaign if you want. Let's say that we will go quickly in a relaunch on a campaign we did. Those are market data, of course. I try to give them some sense for the story I'm trying to bring you today. So when I was clicking on that link, we go directly to our reporting elements. And you see, again, quite a new change. And we should have maybe pushed a bit more emphasis on the fact that the left menu is now always open and that we get those here's those columns coming up. So we have our graphics ready over here. You can go deep into it, but I will not highlight much more about graphics, knowing that our friends of Communal will jump in a couple of minutes around it too. So maybe just a little thing, because I know that Thomas is going to show you this. You get your values over here with the amount of people, and we can apply segmentation. If we go to the active one, you see that everything is filtered directly into your reports. We had already some nice feedback because people sometimes forget everything that Actito can offer them and help them to do. I will try to go back to it. Oh, looks much better like this, I think, on the TV as well. So I had an issue with the resizing. So something I was that I didn't mention is the active scenarios. Active scenarios is really what I would call the learnings that marketers try to have with their consumers. What I mean by that, we have 34 journeys running at this time. 34 manner to learn something, to increase your engagement with your customer, to do something better. Because at the end, let's be honest, marketing is a lot about test, learn, iterate, and marketers of today should be learning machines and always be learning day after day. So that was a quick preview about the dashboard. This is already live since yesterday. We have great feedback around it. Keep pushing feedback. You saw my coordinates just up front. So or dashboard or left menu with all the entry points, won't go deeper in this. I will directly make a quick switch to our store. So I was talking about Scott Brinker and the lovely graphic with the 5,000 companies. We don't have 5,000 integration yet, but we have already a couple. In our latest release, we were talking about our buddies from Califio. Just say, for example, that you want to capture more contacts through contests, personality tests. Just call out every ID that comes in. It's an interactive marketing data collection made easy. That's the call to action. As soon as you click on the more info, you will have a snapshot, some description about the partner, what does he exactly can deliver, help you with, but also how we can integrate. And again, that is something that guys like Thomas knows very well. There is not only one way. They could connect many ways with the data. Actito offers the same kind of flexibility around it. You will work with manual import, you can work with webhooks, you can work with API call, just call on. Very extended way of doing. That is why we have a little link to a demo side of it, and of course a little form. Why do we have that form? It's because you know that we really believe that to leverage the technology at its maximum, the fact that you can always tap into our people, call your customer success manager, ask your support people to help you, really give full power to those kind of integration, because we want to challenge you to go further in it. So this little form, as soon as you would put your data in and send it, it goes directly to your customer success manager, but also to the support and the partner. So basically you get the best of the technology, but also the best of the people around it. Not much in it yet. We focus on 6 at the moment. If you are a partner looking to that, and Thomas is the first one that will pop up in the coming weeks, but if you see other ones, I will just say, let's go for it. In the earlier session we had this morning, I have a good friend of mine, which is a consultant, more about building those journeys. So we will even put people that can help you leverage Actito to its maximum. So really, this is a first step for us into that ecosystem of technology. We want to give you more access to the best one in class. And Communal is the best one in dashboard, Califio in data collecting, Blender, for example, for those that saw us a year ago, is like our Swiss knife, the Zapier on steroid, like I call them. CRM platform like Salesforce is potentially the guys with who you're working today, but you want to get your data out of the CRM and going more to a marketing automation because you want to activate, you want to communicate with your customer. That is where it happened. So really, a first step in it is showing you that Actito is really growing in its vision also, and about how we want to bring the technology to the people. So I've been talking about our dashboard, our left menu. I just give you a sneak preview about the store. I will be really happy to hear a lot of you in the box over there or sending me emails. Really looking forward to your feedback. So 1, 2, third stuff, of course, documentation. And let's be honest, nearly 10 years I'm here, and what we were doing a couple of years ago, or even months, was sending PDF to all our customers as soon as they made first training with us. But as soon as the people needed to go back to it, it was always a struggle to find the PDF back. We didn't have really a location where all this information was available. If you compare that to emailing tools, you see that Actito has dashboard, has a portal, has a store, has Data Mart Studio. We have profiles, we have GDPR, we have targeting, we have scenario, we are a multi-channel campaign tool. Just to say, there is a lot of documentation. Just to give you an idea, if I click on the dashboard, you will directly go into the explanation. Print screens, explanations about how does it work, best way to get the most value out of it. I will say chapeau to the support team that wrote that down and that is always updating it. And when I say always, even more than one time a day, they just push new stuff in it because you provide us the feedback and we go a step further with it. So that was the dashboard. It's a bit more about what I was talking today. I think where I see a lot of people since yesterday, and we have some analytics behind it, it's everything around data modeling. You know how important it is for us that people understand that Excel sheets are great, but as soon as you want to interact and really personalize the journey around the people, you need more than just an Excel sheet, and you need those tables, kits, stores, cache information, just go on. And of course, this is the data we could provide to our friends from Communal, and they can make it even more accessible, more tangible. You can make better decisions because you understand better your data. So the data mark, of course, GDPR, if you're still into putting yourself in, you know, some more clean mode about how do you get those consent, what about data portability, the right to be forgotten. Go back to our previous webinar, we have to talk a lot about it. All the features are ready, customer success managers know how to help you around that. Last but not least, because that was for me one of the most important, I consider myself really as a marketeer and a non-technical marketeer, maybe a bit geek because I love to play with the tools, but I cannot code the tools. But this was so damn important for our partners, like the Communal, like the Califio. We have a REST API fully documented with a test environment, a production environment, and you can really go very deep into that. When I'm talking with engineers, when they see that, they say always, you spend an hour or two to understand the concept behind Actito, and then basically you could rebuild a new Actito just by using those APIs, that documentation. I would say really go sniffing it, go looking around, just tell us how to bring it more, to give more accessibility maybe to it, how to leverage it better. Again, support, success management, myself, head of product, we are all happy to help you around that. So I'm just checking, I'm quite okay on the timing. So the quick recap is not difficult. As soon as you will enter Actito, you go straight ahead into, I hope, a lovely dashboard. Give me feedback on that as much as you can. Tell us where we should put the next upgrade. This could be the app that we will be upgrading, for example. Just see how easy it is now to navigate into the portal, deck to breadcrumb, like I said. I really like that fresh way, more intuitive way. Go play with our store. Go ask yourself to add some other partners of you so that you can get more value out of your marketing automation tool. Check our documentation. And I think it's the right moment now to switch it over to my friend Thomas that will really show you how important it is today to be much more data-driven when you're trying to understand, but also when you try to learn new stuff. And normally, now you are, it's your time.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Do you see my screen? I hope so. In a second. Yes.
It's loading. Now I see your screen.
Okay.
And I think everybody is seeing your screen. So great. Go ahead, Thomas. Make people dream.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. No, thank you for the opportunity, Jonathan. I'd love to show you two things in the next maximum 10 minutes. First, a few slides, 3-4 slides on who we are, what we do, but then most importantly, also show you how our platform works, how it works together with Actito on Actito data, and how you could leverage basically our cooperation to really get more deeper insights on what's happening within your Actito environment. Very briefly, what do? We unleash the power of your marketing data, of every types of data, but especially also marketing data, and that specifically right within, for example, the Actito environment. So we bring with Communal, we're a platform. What we do is we bring data-driven decision-making becoming more and more important. And nowadays, like John also mentioned, so many tools, so many data being generated on a daily basis, to bring that really to the table, to drive decisions on that data, and that in an extremely short time to insights. How do we do that? Typically in 3 steps. To connect your data on the left-hand side, we are agnostic, fancy words to tell you that we are independent from the type of data technology. It could be an API, it could be a database, it could be Excel sheets, but it could also be a real-time connection to your Actito environment. Secondly, you have the creation of dashboards, a sample example here on the right-hand side, where we really focus on marketeers, business users, not necessarily technical people, who can easily drag and drop insights together on the preferred data environments of their company, of their preference. Thirdly, also is that you can share or especially also integrate those dashboards within one single environment. We work with a number of sectors. We call that integrated analytics. Here on the right-hand side, I always like to show also some medical examples. We work, for example, in the football industry, where you can detect potential injuries of football players. But the advantages are threefold. There's a speed up to your time to market with new features, new insights. Engineers keep on the core of the applications because they can work together with Communal, and there are also different ways of working together with us in different types of cooperation models. Maybe to wrap up and go to the demo. Currently, we're active in 17 countries. Here, out of Belgium, close to Actito, we are based in Leuven, and we work with Belgian players also like Team Leader or Aproplan. In the construction industry, we work with the Belgian government, the Belgian In Figures platform, but we're also active, for example, with work markets in the US. This was a short introduction, but I guess the most interesting part could be to look at a demo of our platform. And I'd love to start with one of the demo dashboards we built together with the team of Jonathan. So what you see here, and we'll in a second phase show you on how you can build that on Actito data. This is really a snapshot on, for example, you saw the profiles in the dashboards of Actito. You could potentially also bring some more flexibility to those insights by saying, hey, I'd love to have, instead of the last 3 months, a snapshot of the last 2 months, so the last 60 days. There were, of course, less new users. There was a raise month over month of about 177%. Here you see month by month. And then, for example, there are a number of parameters. People who clicked on a campaign, people who are in a certain segment of your marketing audience. And you could really use that to leverage. For example, hey, I'm interested in the people who engaged with parameter number 2. I know parameter number 2 is just an example that tried to analyze all the data, and I hope it speaks for itself. So you can really drill down on the last 60 days. You can drill down on the people who engaged with parameter number 2. And then here a more complex graph, which I really like, is that you can have, imagine you have 5 parameters in this case. You can really identify a flow of your users going through those different 5 parameters. For example, I could be interested in this part that, for example, did not follow any type of rules or engagement, who opened your last email campaign, and also who engaged with parameter number 1, for example. So if I click on that together with the other filtering actions above, you can really drill down on your data and get a snapshot of all those new users, and potentially or reuse it in Actito, or also download it to your own computer and do something with those. Let me just check on top. Remaining 427 users corresponding to those different criteria.
Thomas, I will just jump in because I know a lot of the users that I see, and thank you for being so much people today in that session. Can you just go down to the graphic? I know that it's one of your favorite ones. Just to give you some context about how you could use this with Actito. I love when marketeers start doing what I call scenario battles, you know, a journey like a welcome sequence. I'm not just talking about a reply email or a reflex email, but rather really 1, 2, 3 emails with a survey in it. And you really want to try 2 different approaches to get a goal. Those kind of graphics could really help you understand how your journeys, how the stories you're bringing to your customer really works and what is really has an impact at the end of the game. Like Thomas was showing, it was highlighting maybe one way of the people go through your scenario, but you could really compare it with your other scenario. And like I said, I'm a strongly believer that marketing, although AI can do lots of great things, understanding what is happening so that marketeer can bring that human emotional touch back to it is really important. And those kind of graphics, and correct me if I'm wrong, are really the ones that could help people understand better how their user behaves through a specific journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And I like to compare it for the people that use Google Analytics, and I was in it this morning. I could see when people enter on my website on a specific page and then do a kind of action, how do they move into my funnel? This is kind of a bit the same way. That's how I understand those graphics.
Yeah.
Just again, what Thomas is showing you people, and it's very important that you understand it, he will be able to put visuals on data. And that is for a guy like me, which is much more on the design part of the marketing than the analytics part, a good way for me to make right decisions. That was it. Just little interlude. Sorry for that, Thomas, and I'll let you go.
No worries. No, thanks for the intervention. Yeah, fully aligned and fully agree on what you say. What I also like to show you, this is of course the end result on how it was made. That with Communal.io, we also have a strong focus on those marketeers or business users. So it shouldn't be that difficult to build those dashboards, those insights. So for example, I have here a demo, the same data set I used to show you the insights. It has all the different columns. It has also the different parameters you have defined in your Actito environment. So I need to briefly refresh. And once you have the data there, you could easily use it to start building the insights that you have together and the dashboards. Yeah, I'll show you an example. Sorry for the small hiccup here. But we'll go to the...
Also have issues with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, also at Actito. No, we're getting there. But I'll show you to the dashboards on how you indeed, there we are. This is the one I showed you before, but love to show you also on how it works and building those dashboards. Maybe interesting to mention, like we're a fully cloud platform, so everything is in the cloud. You can work at home, in the office, or even on your iPads or tablets to build all those insights. So these are already a few graphs that I added to the portal here. Normally on the left-hand side, you should be able to also add indeed different elements or graphs to your canvas, or we call it the dashboard editor. For example, this is a very basic one. It's let me just bring it down a bit. It's a bar chart, of course. It's typically like a drag and drop principle. So it's a bit of like Tetris. You can really drag and drop the graphs on where you like to have them. I have my data set on the right-hand side, and there it's really selecting those data. So I'm interested to see how many users I got per month. So I take it my mouse, I drag it here, and I leave it on the y-axis, and I get a view on the users per month. I go to the settings. Hey, I'd love to see the values per month as well. I'd love to have some nice grid lines. That's one chart. Another one could be that I add some insights on the different parameters. So let me make it a bit smaller, make this one a bit bigger. Yeah. And then depending on the parameters you like to see, of course, I have a number of those here up parameter. Let me take parameter number 2. I want to see the split between yes or no, or following, not following. That's, for example, that's parameter number 2. Now I'm also interested to know about how parameter 1 is doing. I can take a copy. Yeah, there is. And really I can take the first one and have it up on here on parameter 1. I hope to see, yeah, it's getting there. Yeah, sorry for the short delay. So now you see the differences, and then maybe to show you even for the more complex graphs, as I just showed you in the other one, it shouldn't be that difficult to build those insights. So I think we call it an alluvial chart. I can make it a bit bigger. And now I can really play with all those parameters. For example, if I want to see the differences between, or see the different flows that are between the different parameters, I can just drag and drop them on my canvas and really play around with it afterwards. That's how we build those insights. You can choose, if you prefer to have the not follow on top, you can really drag and drop them as you want them, and you can interact with them in an easy and interactive way. So that's it. In a nutshell, perhaps a real-time connection with a lot of platforms, also with Actito. Afterwards, either have insights already within your platform, or the possibility to be behind the keyboard yourself and build insights that are tailored to your organization.
I love it. Thank you very much.
Give it over to you again, John.
So to all the people over there, I think you really understand the point of this. It's as soon as the data is connected to a platform or to the platform of Thomas, you really see how deep you can go and how much you could learn out of that. And this is really the way you should be thinking today about going with data, understanding what is important about the journeys you're building and everything. So that is why we really plug them with us. We have already a first proof of concept with a customer. We hope to be mention his name in a couple of weeks. What I mean by that, if you're interested in those kind of integration, if you want to bring Actito a step further into your organization by providing more data visualization, more learnings, I will just say you got coordinates of Thomas and myself on the Ritz. Just ping us. I will be happy to book a meeting with you to see what we can do together. Also, a lot of feedback is highly welcome on our dashboard, on our documentation, on our store. If you want to be part of the store, if you think we should add other ones with Thomas, of course, in it, I will say just reach out to us. This is really the thing, you know, I tag always myself, like sharing, caring is the most important stuff we should do out of a company like Actito. And I strongly believe we have some core values with the guys of Communal as well, by really helping, because I think that is the most important, and the rest will come up with it. So thank you very much. I don't see any questions. So two things in that. We were very good, which I'm pretty sure about Thomas. I hope for myself too. I will say you can always come up with questions later on, of course, and the feedback is highly welcome, because that is how we can also learn and increase ourselves and do better the next time. If you think we should adapt maybe something with a more business use case, or maybe a workshop session, I will just say shout out as much as you can. We're really there to listen and to see what we can do for that. I want to say thank you again, Thomas, for being part of those 3 sessions of the day. I know those are long days.
You're welcome.
Because of those, thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the attendees for being there. Share it as much as you can as soon as we'll be online, probably in a couple of days. And yeah, catch up for the next Watch and Learn within 3 months, of course, like all the releases we're doing on a quarterly basis. Thank you very much, and see you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.